So you got a new fishing rod. Let's walk through how to set it up properly. First, let's attach our spin reel to our rod. You just slide it into the grip. This one has a handle that slides down. Other ones will have ringlets that slide down. A spin reel like this hangs at the bottom of your rod, so you could cast and reel in underneath. This is just a standard 3-piece rod. You could assemble it just like so. Just get the rod eyelet slightly off center, and when you push down, twist at the same time just to line it up perfectly. It should be directly in line with your spin reel. We'll assemble the third piece here. Again, I'm going slightly off and then twisting so it's in line. When you're twisting it on, don't grab the eyelets themselves because you could break them. Just make sure everything's in line. Your rod will generally say a weight on it and tell you what line to use. This is a light action, so it's about 4 to 10 pound test. We'll spool this up with 10 pound monofilament line. Now it's time to spool our line. What I usually do is take our line, thread it through the first eyelet here, and that makes it a lot easier to reel in and keep good tension, which spools it properly. If you have a spin reel, it's important to flip the bail up first. The knot we're going to use to attach our line to our reel is called the arbor knot. And it doesn't matter what type of fishing line you're using, monofilament, fluorocarbon, or braided, this is the best knot to use. Here's how to tie it. The first step is flipping open your bail. Now take the end of your line and loop it around the spool. Loop the tag under your main line, capturing it, and we're going to tie an overhand knot just on itself. You could see the main line is going through that big circle on our overhand knot. You could pull that tag and tighten it down all the way. Now we just do one more overhand knot somewhere on that little tag end that you have. Again, just create a little loop and pass the end through, kind of crossing over. We're going to tighten this one up as well. And this is the point where you'd lubricate both these knots. You could just use saliva here. And as we pull our fishing line, it's going to start cinching up to that spool. Just keep cranking on it back and forth until it really seats itself. You'll see that tag end start to shrink. It essentially jams both those overhand knots together, creating one very strong arbor knot. Now clip that tag end off and you're ready to go. Now before cinching up any fishing knot, it's good practice to wet the knot and lubricate it just with saliva. This reduces any friction created when you cinch those knots together. So no matter what fishing knot you're tying, you should always do that prior to cinching it up. Now we're ready to finally spool the line. Flip the bail down, and you first want to grab your line and pinch it against your rod. We want to keep a tight line here. That way it gets tight coils and lots of tension on the reel. We don't want loose coils because that'll cause a tangle or a bird's nest when you go to cast. So as we begin, just go slow and make sure it's tight going to the reel. As you start reeling in, just maintain that tension and we could reel in till we fill the bail. You could reel in at a decent speed like this as long as you're maintaining good tension. Now it's really important not to over spool your reel. So you just want to fill it up until there's about 1/8 of an inch left over. If you over spool it, then when you go to cast, you'll notice extra rings are coming off of the reel, and that's not what you want. You'll get a big tangle up that way. Here's an example of the reel when it's over spooled. You can see the line goes right to the tip and there's no gap in between. What happens is when you go to cast, see there, all the line just comes off and these coils start overlapping and coming out. And here's a reel that's been spooled properly. You can see there's about 1/8 of an inch gap. Now that the reel is spooled up, let's thread the line through the remaining eyelids and tie on our hardware. If you're using baits like spinners or spoons that swivel around in the water, you're going to want to tie a swivel onto the end of your line. If you don't tie a swivel, those baits spin in the water and end up spinning your line, and it leads to further tangle ups. I prefer using a snap swivel. Now there's a number of advanced knots we could tie here, but I'm going to show you the one that I learned when I was young, and it's called the clinch knot. We just go around our finger and wind up. I like to do 7 times. Lucky number 7. Again, before cinching any knots, you just want to lubricate that and cinch it down. This is the way my dad taught me when I was young, and I've used it ever since on both swivels and hooks. Start by threading through the eye of your hook or swivel. I like to put my left middle finger right on the inside there against the hook eye. Now we simply wind around our main line. On most fishing line, do 6 or 7 twists. Because this rope is thicker, I could only get away with about 4 or 5. When you're done your 7, slide it back through the loop around your middle finger and start pulling till there's no more loop. And this is the point where we'd lubricate using saliva. Grab your hook now and really cinch on it and you'll see it pop right into place. you could clip the tag end off here. Here's an example of how a snap swivel works if you're using lures. You just snap on right to the lure, and no matter how much that spins and twirls, your line isn't going to spin. I love the snap swivels because you could easily switch your lure, use this one, take it off, switch to another one, throw it on. If you're just using worms and want to tie directly to a hook, we don't have to have a swivel here because this isn't going to spin in the water and tangle up your line. It's just going to lie flat. Again, you want to lubricate your knots and then cinch it up tight. Try to resist the urge to just bite off the tag. It's not a good habit to get into. Try to use scissors, or on the water, nail clippers are really good to use. If you're fishing worms and want to add a weight, just go about a foot above that hook, throw on your weight, and remember to resist the urge to bite down with your teeth. Instead, use pliers. Every fisherman should have pliers just to be able to remove hooks from fish. And there we have it, about a foot away from our hook. Now, if you're throwing a bobber on, this one's pretty easy to use. You just push down the top and it shows a little tiny hook there. Hook it onto your line. Now push the whole thing and you'll see a hook comes out at the bottom. We want to put that on our line too. And you could slide this along your line wherever you want it. If you're fishing a lake, keep it a few feet above the weight. If you're fishing a river, just keep that hook off the bottom of the river, so adjust it to the river depth. And every reel should have a drag mechanism. You'll turn it clockwise to tighten and you'll feel some resistance, or counterclockwise to loosen it up. The drag system is when a fish pulls on your line, how much tension it's going to give. Set your drag at just a medium and you can adjust it based on the size of fish you're catching. You want the fish to be able to pull some drag so it doesn't snap the line if it's too big. But you don't want the fish to pull too much line that it releases tension and the hook pops out. You'll have to figure that one out on the water, but generally keep it so there's just a bit of resistance there. Now your new rod is set up and you're ready to get out there fishing. Good luck out there, and if you want to learn any advanced knots or outdoor education like survival, camping, and bushcraft, we've got it all on the Bear Essentials YouTube channel. I'm your friend DJ with the Bear Essentials, and thanks for stopping by.